In this video, we're going to show you how to use the multi-stitch tool. As mentioned in the single stitch video, we use the stitch tool in V-Stitcher to sew pattern pieces into garments. We also need to evaluate the number of edges we want to stitch together. We will use the multi-stitch tool if multiple edges are stitching to each other. Multi-stitch allows us to identify a group of edges to sew to either one single edge or another group of edges. We can practice a multi-stitch on these blocks first. When doing a multi-stitch, we first need to identify the edges we want to stitch from and the edges we want to stitch to. For example, we would like to stitch from these two edges to these three edges. In this case, these two edges are what we call the from edges, and these three edges are what we call the to edges. To perform a multi-stitch, we must check multi-stitch on the horizontal contextual menu. Next to the multi-stitch option, you will see the buttons From and To. We need to select the from edges first, in chronological order. When we click on the edges with multi-stitch, we will see an arrow. The arrow indicates the direction of the stitch. Note, the stitches should always be going in one direction, so if we want to stitch from the top, we must select the top edge first, then the bottom edges. The arrows should also be facing the intended direction. You can easily adjust the direction by toggling over to the other side of the edge. Just click to confirm the direction. The edges that you have selected will also show up on the context view. Great! Once the from edges are complete, we will need to switch to To in the horizontal contextual menu. Now we select the to edges. Remember, the direction must be the same as the from edges. Once that is complete, we will see the preview of the stitches shown as a dotted line. This allows us to check accuracy. If they are incorrect, we can clear all the selections and start again. If everything is okay, click Done in the horizontal contextual menu or Enter on your keyboard to confirm the stitches. Note, confirmed stitches will show as a solid line when you click on the stitch. If you'd like more practice before trying on a garment, you can use multi-stitch to connect these shapes within the downloadable file. Okay, let's apply the logic to a garment. Just like single stitch, we can use multi-stitch in the 2D window and the 3D window. We'll be working in the 3D window for this example. We ensure the cursor is in the 3D window, then press Tab to enlarge. For example, this front bodice is split up into two edges, and we need to stitch to the back side seam. Once we have selected the stitch tool, we can select the multi-stitch feature on the horizontal contextual menu. We start by choosing the From edges. Remember that a highlight color and arrow direction are displayed to indicate the edge we are hovering on. We click to select the edge. Now that we have a stitch direction, as shown by the arrow, we should ensure that all of the other From edges match that direction. To select the second From edge, we hover our mouse over it until we are happy with the stitch direction. When ready, we click to select the edge. When we have selected all the From edges, we need to identify the edges to be stitched to. First, we need to enable the To option. Note, when using the multi-stitch tool, if we hover over an edge, the cursor displays a text reminder telling us if we are using the From or To selection. Now, we repeat the steps to select the group of edges that are stitched to. Once we have made all of our From and To selections, we select Done to finish. And that's how we use the multi-stitch tool. We can use multi-stitch to complete the rest of the garment. Before finishing, here are a few useful tips. As a best practice, start stitching in the 3D window. If an edge is small or too difficult to stitch in the 3D window, switch to the 2D window. You can start the From edges in the 3D window, then complete the To edges in the 2D window. Another tip when stitching in the 3D window is that we can use the saved camera angles and the 3D navigation toolbar to rotate around the garment. In this video, we've shown you how to sew a garment using the multi-stitch tool. For more information, check out the Browswear Help Center.